The two most common questions I get once I tell people what I do for a living: one, is that really a job? And two, what did you study? So question one, I'm a futurist, and yes, that's really a job. So what do? I quantitatively study the intersection of societal trends, emerging technologies, macroeconomics, and use statistical modeling to forecast the future. And two, what did I study? In my undergrad, I studied finance and chemistry, and then I did an MBA, focusing on everything from strategic foresight to statistical modeling. And then a few classmates and I took what we learned about strategic foresight and forecasting human behavior and emerging technologies and built a startup with it, before finally founding my own startup that deals with all things advanced technologies and the future. The courses that have been most relevant to my journey? Statistics, and I'd say that 3 more times because it's really important, but it's really hard to say that many times in a row. Chemistry, macroeconomics, finance, AI ethics, business ethics, strategic foresight. The two most...
A couple of years ago, you wrote how we need to stop asking kids what they want to be when they grow up. What did you mean by that?
And I know that question is usually asked with the best intention, but the reality is most of the jobs that a child would see today or answer that question with probably won't exist by the time they are in a working age, or they'll be radically transformed. So instead of kind of setting people up, and it's not for failure, but for the idea that your identity is attached to the job that you do, when we know the future of work is going to be very different, we should be encouraging kids to think more broadly about the problems that they want to solve, because those are more likely to exist than a specific occupation. And especially as technology continues to more rapidly disrupt the workforce, we have to move away from this idea that you are your job, because that's going to change. So if we can start with kids and encouraging them, what are the skills that you want to learn and the problems that you want to solve? And one of the most important skills for the future being critical thinking and imagination. That's something that children are already naturally endowed with. Lean into that.
The curiosity. When you said that, I kind of felt like, I think that's hard for people to hear.
It is, but 15 years ago, the role of a social media manager analyst didn't exist. Now, if a company doesn't have one, you're probably not going to make it. So the trend lines aren't very different. There are significant, whether you're a data analyst, a data scientist, all of these jobs have really come to the forefront in the last decade. And so that's still going to continue going forward. But I think the future always seems a lot more shocking from the present, and especially when we analyze it through the frameworks of the present.
65% of kids entering into primary school today are likely to work in jobs that haven't been invented yet. Not only that, kids in school today are likely to hold 17 jobs across 5 different industries. And this is all thanks to the changing world of technology and the impact it's going to have on our workforce. I recently did a video, how good are you at spotting fake news? Or seeking out accurate, relevant, and trustworthy information. This is actually a really important skill for the future of work. It's called digital discernment. As we spend more of our time in digital spaces and start working more closely with technologies such as artificial intelligence, the amount of digital data and information that's going to be thrown at us is only going to increase. So being able to seek out reliable and verified information is going to become even more important. So here's what digital discernment skills look like in practice. Comparing how headlines differed from 2 different media sources. Checking the sources of information. For example, was this just written on social media so it doesn't have any editorial standards? Or asking questions like, is there a reason why an algorithm fed me this piece of information in particular? Digital discernment is a key skill for the future of work. And I'm going to continue to share more on skills.
When I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh.